We switch gears now from talks around elections, politics, where we're not keeping our eyes off it, I must say. But let's talk about Nigeria's image on the global scene. I mean, you saw this part where President Donald Trump acknowledged the presence of Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Tinubu, and a lot of people have spoken about that. And the latest one is a state invitation, which the president and his wife got from the United Kingdom, a visit which will be happening in the coming weeks. So let's aggregate all of these together and find out where we're at right now. We're joined on the program by Mr. Ademola Oshodi, SSA to the President on Foreign Affairs. Mr. Oshodi, thank you for your patience. There was a lot of heat in the kitchen. I'm sure you felt some of it.
Yeah, the cook and the people eating the food were very, very engaging.
I love the way you put it. Mr. Oshodi, last week was quite eventful for Nigeria. Two levels. First, the recognition by the U.S. President of Senator Tinubu, then the state invite, the planned state visit now of President Tinubu and his wife to the United Kingdom. So it's been celebrated, particularly in government. But some have said, well, this is just the lobbying money paying off in that sense. But I want you to speak to what we're seeing play out now, and that is impacting Nigeria's image, not forgetting the conversation around lobbying. So is this a good argument for why lobbying is important and good?
Well, thank you for having me. The most important aspect I think we should focus on is, I believe, the image of Nigeria and the misconception out there. It's very important we get the narratives right. We get our own story out there, so people don't, people don't tell our story instead of us. So it's important that we engage all parties in every sector, in every country, to ensure that the Nigerian program led by the President Bola Tinubu is on track. So they understand where we're going, they understand our challenges. And it's also very important they are in support, bringing whatever support they can to ensure that we overcome our challenges, whether it's our reform, whether it's security, or even whether our role in international organizations and all the fact that international dynamics of the global power system. We live in a fragmented world. It's very bipolar right now. And it's important that we have everybody understanding our goals and aspiration and be able to support us.
Very important. So I want us to speak to the real impact of these things on the ground. I know there have been figures put here and there about just how much investment the president has been able to bring into the country. Some put it at billions of dollars. For the Nigerians will tell you, looking around, I haven't entirely seen all of these, so there are potentials that are waiting to manifest in real time. So speak to us about the real impact of, maybe it's a recognition, some say it's just a recognition, no big deal. It's the same President Trump that described Nigeria in unflattering terms, right? But maybe you can help us put it in context, the real impact of this, either on the economy, on the people, security, and the rest.
Well, it's hard to say the impacts of reforms that Nigeria has been, the fruits of reform that Nigeria has been way overdue in putting into place. I would even believe from 1960, we've been doing this subsidy thing for a while, subsidizing a lot of our economy. So things have changed in that regard. We've also not paid particular attention with the strong political will on security, way down from the 80s of Matama, even issues of just poverty in certain parts of the country that is now manifested into a huge security dilemma. So President Bola Tinubu's reforms have made impacts on areas whereby, for instance, our forex is stabilized and in many cases, health system is improved, but I'm pretty sure you will focus on the hardship on people. And I don't take that away. Things are tough, but if they look at the inflation, it's going down. They look at security. There's more political will. There's more international support. There's more finances towards it. It's not a reform that you will see play out in days or weeks, and sometimes even years in certain aspects of the economy. But we are on the right path. We are on the tough path in correcting our places. I mean, for instance, taxes have just been reviewed. Again, people will not be happy about that, but the fruit of that will manifest itself in the weeks and months to come. So you can't just say, well, reforms have been put in place, therefore Nigeria, how much has impacted people. I don't think that's accurate. If you look at a from a historical perspective in all the countries, when Margaret Thatcher did her reforms and attacked the coal miners, and there was huge uproar in the United Kingdom, inflation went up. The same thing in China with the reforms they made. And don't talk of Russia. When Boris Yeltsin moved in after the USSR, they were subsidizing everything, bread, they were subsidizing everything. And he removed all that. And there was tremendous upheaval in the country. But, the economies have improved. You can go down to even parts of South Africa after the apartheid government, and how reforms took its painful path and the economy is now stabilized. So it's a general thing that happens around the world when you invoke reforms. Even back home in Ghana, I believe the inflation was in a crazy rate a few years ago. Now Ghana's inflation is like 3.6. It's amazing. And it's the effect of timely reforms, albeit painful. So it's something that I think it's manifesting. It may not reach the average person. But the most important aspect I think for Nigerians to focus on, I believe, is the political will. That this is at least a leader that wants change, not cosmetic change, really wants change. He didn't have to remove the subsidy. He could just coast like everybody's been doing since. He could just coast. But he took the tough decisions, and it's really going to help us. It's going to help our children. He took on security. He's got in the backing of the Americans and all the world powers to ensure we fight this banditry, we fight this insurgency. This is something that you're not going to see immediately, but I'm very confident, this Nigeria is on the right path for stability and prosperity, based on the leadership and the political will we have in place right now.
Mr. Oshodi, the argument as to how it trickles down will never end, because the best assessment is how it impacts the people eventually, whether now or tomorrow. That's another argument altogether. Let's talk about what has been giving the government a bit of flex on the international scene, which narrative has been managed and counter-managed, and the killings in Kwara, for instance, that has happened. In between all of that, there has been rescue in Kaduna, and then this recognition of First Lady in Washington, D.C., and then the invitation by the King in England. So there's a lot happening at the same time as you look at it. But for the average Nigerian who wants to see direct impact. Now, the argument sometimes is the fact that what could have been done differently to have reduced the burden on the people of Nigeria based on some of the decisions being taken. We can also talk about whether the government is responsible enough in how its expenditure is being carried out, whether at the federal or sub-national level. But when the government hear Nigerians say, we don't like what is going on, the constant remark by the government is say, you may not understand now, but tomorrow. But these are the people you are leading. Is there a way the government can now manage that narrative even better for people to understand? Because they seem not to understand. And it's within their right to have the feelings that they have as far as these reforms are concerned.
I agree with you. It's never enough to keep talking to Nigerians and explaining your position, explaining what their government has plans and why they're going through this, challenges. It's very important, and we can never do enough of that. But obviously, if you're going through fire, you're more concerned about the discomfort, the burn on your body than anybody talking to you. But I agree with you. It's important that we communicate more and more effectively to the Nigerian people about the reasons for the reforms and why it's something that is good for them. It's a medicine that may be rather distasteful. For instance, I hate injections, but if they tell me that I need to take few injections on my bum, I will have to do it because I know it would make me feel better and make me a more healthier person. So I agree with you on the communication part. But on the foreign affairs part, which is my area, I can tell you that based on what we are seeing right now, the Nigerian government has received a lot of accolades and praise for its reforms. It has had independent major institutions like the World Bank and the IMF praise its reforms. So we have this, apparently the Nigerian reform path has been seen as a test, almost like a course on how reforms should be issued and executed. So we know the government knows we're going to the right path for the betterment for Nigerians. But I would just say, Nigerians should be more understanding and more patient. And if they have their own means, if they do disagree with the government, there's an election coming up. We are in a democracy, but I believe the vast majority of Nigerians understand what the government is doing
right.
for its betterment, and we'll see a better prosperity in the near future.
Well, I think primarily this conversation has also been about, the cost-benefit analysis in some sense of, all of the work that is doing to fix Nigeria's image, or at least present it in the right light. I'm sure you must have caught that Africa subcommittee in the U.S. Congress, I think it was Rep. Chris Smith, that expressed concerns about the lobbying fee, $9 million, he said, is $750,000 per month, another $120,000 per month involving a Nigerian billionaire, a firm called Valcor or what have you. So a lot of cost is obviously going into this. Also the travels, the time the president has spent out of the country, the money spent for those trips. So the cost-benefit analysis is also another conversation. So if you could just give us a one-word answer, do you think the benefit has matched the cost or outweighed the cost?
I don't think the government is doing enough to ensure we get our information out there, but to get our narrative out there. It's important we get the right message. We don't want a misconception of, there's a massive killing of Christians that just focused only on Christians.
All right.
We don't want a situation where people feel as if the banditry is something that is political rather than economic. We don't want a situation whereby West Africans, see what is happening in Nigeria as an opportunity to provide chaos from our borders. So the narrative is very important, and if it's not done right, it's important. It could be a huge national security threat.
All right.
Apart from the fact that people just go on social media and misrepresent the government's position.
Mr. Oshodi, clearly, you're saying we should do more. But we have to thank you. I know a lot of work is on your desk, so we'll be getting in touch with you from time to time to get the development.
And I just want to mention the fact that we feel very fortunate that the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluwemi Tinubu, has had the opportunity to clarify a lot of things. She had an interview with the American press. Apart from the Donald Trump's mentioning of her as a very respected woman. It's been a privilege. I've known her for a while, and I think she's a great soft power for the country. Thank you.
Mr. Ademola Oshodi, SSA's President of Foreign Affairs, thank you for your time. Wish you the very best, as always.
Thank you.
And that's been the show. Thank you for watching. I'm Kayode Okikulu.
Sunrise Daily is up at the top of the hour. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Bye-bye.